Here on TRT World is Ross Feingold. Ross is the former Asia chairman of Republicans Abroad, and he joins us now from Taipei. Good to see you, Ross. Tell me, how does the Donald Trump machine react to this in public and also in private? Because in private, he's going to be getting his legal team together to launch some kind of defense, because it really looks as if this is going to a trial in the Senate.
Well, we saw the public reaction with the president saying, bring it on, do it fast. So we got to give the president credit, because he seems to be very masterful still at messaging. And obviously, this kind of messaging is meant to appeal to the portion of the American electorate that voted for him last time. And many of them, of course, are going to vote for him again. And he's just more adept at this than the Democrats are. If you ask Americans, what exactly are the Democrats impeaching President Trump over? It's not really clear, despite all the hearings and the testimony that's occurred over the past few weeks and all the facts that the Democrats have put out there, whether through hearings, testimony, the reports that have been issued by the Intelligence Committee. And they're still having trouble saying exactly what they're going to impeach the president for. So as you mentioned, yesterday, Nancy Pelosi's big announcement that she's approved the Judiciary Committee to draft the articles of impeachment. Well, we don't even know what they're going to be impeaching him for yet. And we saw from the testimony of the expert witnesses that they're talking about a number of different things, bribery, obstruction of justice, but the Democrats still haven't really focused on what exactly it is they're going to impeach the president for. And when they get to the Senate, asking the senators to remove the president for doing. As far as the private side, yes, of course, he's going to be talking with his legal team. And to be fair to President Trump and his legal team, they've been through this before. They have a lot of experience because they had to respond to the Mueller investigation. So they have 2+ years of very on-point experience responding to investigations. So they're going to be even better prepared than they were for the Mueller investigation. And then there's another element, which is the crossover between the public and the private, and that's preparing friendly people in the media, Republican senators, Republican members of the House, to go out in public, to go on TV and defend President Trump. And again, that's something that the White House and President Trump are very good at doing. They're very good at getting their surrogates into the public space to defend the president.
So far at the moment, in terms of the Senate, I don't believe there's a single Republican in there who's come out in public and said that, look, if it comes to a trial, I'm definitely going to vote against the president. So far, the Republicans are showing loyalty in the Senate. But overall, do you think there might be some sort of reaction privately from Republicans in the Senate to the testimony that has been given so far to all of the different committees looking into impeachment in the House?
Well, we sometimes hear or read reports saying that off the record, senators express their concern to journalists. They roll their eyes when they're asked questions about President Trump and they walk away. They don't want to answer directly. But as you noted, publicly, they're just not doing it. So at this point in time, probably rather than speculate, are any Republicans going to break at the point when they have to come to a final vote? It's more interesting to watch the procedural debate, and that's something that is going to be upcoming. The senators are going to have to agree, the Republicans and the Democrats, what exactly are the precise procedures for the trial, what kind of witnesses are going to be called to testify. And there's a lot of speculation that at that stage, there might be some Republicans who vote with Democrats so that there's a majority of the Democrats are a minority right now. But if they can peel away 3 or 4 Republicans on some procedural issues, that's something to watch for. And that might be a way for some Republicans to express their displeasure that they're going to allow certain witnesses to come testify in the Senate. But it still doesn't mean they're going to vote to remove the president.
Sure, absolutely. And the lawyers will obviously be doing all of their legalese and trying to pin particular points for their sides of the argument. But in terms of general impressions, when the U.S. ambassador to the European Union, Gordon Sondland, says, when I spoke to a senior official in Ukraine and that official asked me about this potential quid pro quo, I told him, yes, it does very much seem as if Volodymyr Zelensky will only be granted a visit to the White House if there's an investigation into Joe Biden and Biden's son Hunter. That looks really bad. When Gordon Sondland says that I kept Mike Pence and Mike Pompeo updated on everything I was doing in terms of Donald Trump's Ukraine policy, that looks really bad. When a Freedom of Information Act, Freedom of Information request is granted and paperwork that the State Department refused to release shows that Mike Pompeo and Mike Pence were having regular conversations just before Marie Yovanovitch, the U.S. ambassador to Ukraine, was summarily and quickly, suddenly fired. All of that looks terrible. Surely there's something here that shows definitely the House is going to vote for impeachment and definitely there's going to be a trial in the Senate and there might actually possibly be a close call.
Well, when it gets to the trial phase, because yes, it does look likely that the Democrats, absent some big turn of events, it looks likely that they're going to approve articles of impeachment. So it'll go to trial. But when it comes to the trial phase, as you said, the lawyers are going to be there and they're going to be citing a lot of things that are exculpatory for the president. They're going to say Ambassador Sondland didn't speak directly to the president about this specific issue, or the president never used those specific words. Sure, he kept Pompeo and other officials updated, but again, that wasn't a direct order from the president to do this or that. So there's going to be a lot of room for good defense lawyers to make the case, or frankly, not just good defense lawyers, but the Republican senators, because they're clearly on record as saying that they don't see anything within this chain of events that rises to the level of removal. And in fact, we're going to see a lot of senators are going to say that everything that transpired is really within the president's authority, especially given the president's, under the American political system, the president's very broad authority to execute foreign policy.
Yes, but as Nancy Pelosi said, he's not a king, he's a president. Ross, just finally, do you think this might actually help Donald Trump win re-election?
It might help a bit. It might also be irrelevant. Why? Because this split we have with the American presidential election system, where so many states are red and so many states are blue, we know for sure that these states are definitely going to vote one way or the other. So it comes down to the swing states. And the reason the Democrats lost in 2016, Hillary Clinton, is they didn't turn out their voters in some of those key swing states. So whether this, however it plays out, will impact that, it remains to be seen, but it might be completely irrelevant because voters, whether or not they turn out in those swing states, might be thinking about other issues such as the economy.
Ross, as I say, always a pleasure. Have a great weekend. Take care.